Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going to be going over column charts in Excel. So I've got some data here. I've got two different dimensions, segment and category, and then I have a measure called sales. So this is a sales in dollars for these different segments and categories. So the first thing to create a column chart, I'm going to have to pivot this. So either you can create a pivot table and then copy and paste it into a table, but I'm going to do something that's going to be a little bit more dynamic. So what I want to do is just delete this data and then paste in new data and have the table update automatically. So first thing I'm going to do is copy this, and in the new table I'm going to create this, and then I'm going to just get the unique values. I go into data, remove duplicates, and there we have just consumer, corporate, and home office, which is the unique values for that. I'm going to do the same thing with the category, and now I'm going to remove duplicates again. I just want to continue with the current selection on just these values, so remove that. Okay, we got the three unique values here, and now we're going to cut this, so Control X. We're going to select that, and then we're going to paste. I wanted to paste transpose. Sorry, I could have to do Control C, or it won't let me do paste transpose. Okay, so transpose just puts it all in one row instead of the columns there. Alright, so now I've got my structure set up. I've got the segments in the rows and the categories in the column. And then what goes into the different bars is the sales, so I have to put calculations in here that are going to total those up for us. Alright, so what we're going to use is the SUMIFS statement. So you put in different criteria and it'll sum over those criteria. So we're going to select this whole column C, because remember I'm setting it up so that if I delete this and I put in new data, whether it's bigger or smaller, it will still compute the sums in this pivot table that I'm creating. The first criteria range, so we're going to first look at segment, and we're going to F4 that to lock it, and that will have to equal this F, and we're going to lock the column there, so only the dollar sign in front of the F. If you keep hitting F4 until only the dollar signs in front of the column there. And then we're going to move on to criteria 2, which is a category. So again, we're going to select the whole column. We're going to hit F4 to lock the column, and then we'll do comma, and this time we're going to go to furniture, and we just want it to stay in this row, so we're going to lock the row. So hit F4, F4 again until the dollar sign is just in front of the row, which is 1 in this case. And then that calculation should be done, and you can see this equals this value right here. Now if we add another consumer furniture and we add, let's say, 100,000, you can see it automatically sums it up. And I'm going to delete that. And since we've set this up with the relative references, we can just drag this over, drag this down, and we have the values calculated as they should be. And I'm just going to format that a little differently. Alright, so we've got it set up now to do our column chart. So we're going to select the data. We're going to go to Insert. So we're going to go to Column. First I'm going to show you this. It's called a clustered column. So you can see it's going to put over the different segments, and then it's going to put the different segments in different colors over the different categories. And if you want it the other way around, you can just hit this switch row column, and it'll change it what's on the x-axis here and what's showing in the different colors. Alright, so we've got that. So, and you can also change the different styles here, and you can also get some different layouts. So I can put in a chart title, so I can put it above or centered over. I usually do above, so just click in here, delete the default label that they give it, and we'll say the awesome chart. And it's usually a good idea to also label the axes So the vertical axis is this y-axis here. So we can do a rotated title, a vertical title, or whatever. Let's just do a rotated title. You see it's rotated in the vertical direction. We'll call this sales amount. And then on the x-axis, we will put a segment. All right. So we've got everything labeled here. We can also add data labels if we want. They're kind of crowded together, but if you have smaller values, they can more easily be seen. Or if we make it a little bigger, then it'll be nicer. Also, you could change these values to like 391K or something like that, and they would fit better in there. All right. What other options do we have here? So we could put in a data table. So if we put in a data table, you see it'll show the actual values down below, and then maybe we don't need the data labels. The grid lines, if we want to get rid of these grid lines, we can go to the vertical grid lines, choose none, go to the horizontal grid lines and choose none. That way those lines don't appear in the background. So those are kind of the options we have there. If you're doing some sort of scientific graphing, you might need to add error bars here. But for sales, it doesn't really mean anything in this case. So some of the other options that we had when we're doing a column chart is a stacked one. So let's do a stacked one. And actually, let's do back to this color scheme. It looks a little nicer than the gray and everything. So now you can see kind of the values stacked up, and you can see the totals of consumer versus corporate versus home office. Some of the other options are to do some more 3D type things, where it just gives it a kind of a 3D dimension, which is kind of frowned upon by most people, but some people like the look of it. But those are kind of your options. I mean, cone, cylinder, pyramid, it doesn't really matter, but I just like the regular flat, either clustered or stacked bars. Another option is, so this one will just kind of show you the percentile. So it's got the percent on the y-axis, so we need to change the label here to sales percent. But this does everything, and it just gives you kind of what the mix is between the different ones. So actually the mix between consumer, corporate, and home office in these different categories seems to be pretty similar across those segments. All right. So that's all you need to do for the basics of a column chart. I hope you guys were able to follow along with that, and thank you very much.